news. Let's go very quickly to it. It is political and it is related to the actions in the parliament. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi has sent in his reply on the breach of privilege notice that was against him over his Feb 7th remarks on the Prime Minister to the Lok Sabha Secretariat. All of this took place yesterday. I'll tell you what he said. He stuck to his comments. He said his comments were based on facts and evidence. He's also said that the sequence of events shows how one corporate benefited from travels and foreign policy. Remember, complaints were made against Rahul Gandhi's parliamentary speech. This is a speech in which he accused the Prime Minister over the Hindenburg research report on the Adani Group in the discussion of the President's address. Essentially what he'd said that the growth of the Adani Group had happened simultaneously as the growth of the power in the Modi government. He'd said that there was a relationship there. Let's go over to my colleague Pallavi Ghosh right now to understand more. Pallavi, what does this mean? Now that Rahul Gandhi is stuck by his remarks, what does it mean and what happens next?
So basically now what happens essentially is that the committee will decide whether they are satisfied with his response or not. The deadline ended on 15 and what we are being told by the party is that he submitted his response on 15. No change in his stand, no apology, which is what the Congress party had also pointed out. And according to what we are being told in that letter or in his response, he very categorically maintained the stand that whatever I said on the floor of the House is actually based on evidence, circumstantial evidence and documentary evidence as well. And if the Prime Minister and the BJP can make personal comments on me and they cannot be expunged, then the same yardstick applies to me as well. However, he says that the sequence of events goes on to show that there is complete evidence that indeed there was one corporate house which benefited from the relationship with the BJP and with the central government. Now, what happens next is, as I said, the committee will take a call on whether they are satisfied with his response or not. So there are two things which happens. Either it goes back to Rahul Gandhi, says they're not satisfied with the response. Would you want to give more clarification? Or the committee may say, okay, we are not satisfied with it. We are going to have a meeting and the next action will be taken against you.
Okay, and Pallavi, who sits on this committee?
So there is a speaker. Speaker accepts the notice. There is an ethics and a privileges committee. And the privileges committee consists of members of both the BJP and of other political parties. The committee deliberates on the response. They come up with a decision. For example, in the cash for votes case also, the committee had several rounds of meeting. And after that, they felt it was violation of the parliamentary norms and the membership of those MPs was suspended. Now, if in an extreme case, the committee remains dissatisfied with Rahul Gandhi's response, they can always take a decision to suspend his membership as a member of parliament for the next remaining term.
Okay, and Pallavi, if I could quickly ask you to go over the parts of the comments you can. We also know that there was much drama around the expunging of parts of those comments. If you could just walk us through the timeline and the details of Rahul Gandhi's comments.
So this was during a motion of thanks to the presidential speech where Rahul Gandhi got up and, he began by questioning the government's policies. But the focus of his entire speech was actually on what he called, based on a Hindenburg report without mentioning it, was that there were benefits which was given to the Adani Group of companies. He also tried to trace what he thinks was documentary evidence to show that how this particular company benefited because of his good relationships with the Prime Minister and with the centre. Much of those comments have now been expunged on the ground that one, the Prime Minister was not in the House when these allegations were made, and second, these allegations have not been backed up with documentary evidence. And therefore, those comments have been expunged and we, of course, cannot make a reference to it at all. So that really is the situation, and we had a strong reaction coming in from the BJP. A privilege notice filed against him by Nishikant Dubey, and of course expunging of his speech, which of course Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party are now calling it a violation of freedom of expression.
Okay, Pallavi, thank you for walking us through that. Let's move on very quickly now.